Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up your seatbelts. In today's video breakdown, I'm going to prove 110% that there is an attack on crypto, piecing together some panel discussions and some video clips for you all today, even showing you all some video clips that have actually been taken down off the internet via some representatives on some panel discussions from large financial institutions confirming that financial institutions are coming to the digital asset space. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough, do not get shaken out. If you all enjoy these deep dives, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. So we're going to set the tone today's video breakdown by reminding you why these governmental entities, why these elite individuals do not want you involved in crypto. Take a second and listen.
The number one thing about Web3 is it allows for censorship-resistant things, censorship-resistant money, censorship-resistant data, censorship-resistant software. The idea of taking large language models and putting them on a blockchain so nobody can deny access to them, to anybody, to a bad person or a good person, is such a powerful idea. That is why this technology is so important, and it's why it scares the f*** out of the government. That's why the government's trying to kill this industry here in the United States right now, because they're scared to death of it.
Right? And that leads me to this post via Brad Garlinghouse today. 20 hours ago, he said, absolute nonsense coming from Gary Gensler today. Let's just take a second and listen to what Gary Gensler said on Bloomberg Live just a couple of hours ago.
This is a field that the leading lights from a couple years ago are either in jail, about to go to jail, or waiting extradition. Think about it. This is that field. That's the field right now where the public has really been harmed.
Gary Gensler deserves to be in jail, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you that in today's video breakdown. This slander, all about crypto execs going to jail from the man who completely missed FTX and actually cozied up to Sam Bankman-Fried and wasn't even invited to the DOJ announcement about finance, said Brad Garlinghouse. And I completely agree. Let's listen to who actually found out about FTX.
It's worth pointing out that it was the crypto community who found out the fraud at FTX, not the regulators, right? And that it was the crypto community who found out the fraud at FTX, not the regulators, right?
Is that not insane? Gary Gensler played no role in actually finding out the FTX debacle and was actually partnered up and, just like Brad Garlinghouse said, cozied up with Sam Bankman-Fried, which in my personal opinion, again, just solidifies more evidence that Gary Gensler is a implemented psyop in order to crash and stall the adoption of digital assets in the industry and the crypto ecosystem in the United States. I cannot stress enough, we need to come together to get this man out of office. This is such a disgusting individual right here, okay? Gary Gensler and his whole entire department and whoever follows him. I can't, like this, what I'm going to show you is just insane. Okay, so let's just take a second and look. I'm going to play some video clips so we can see here. And Gensler, this is recent, December 13th, 2023. So within the last year, this article from Reuters. Gensler defends SEC staff accounting bulletin on crypto. So Gary Gensler is again supporting this SAB 121. This is again recent from December 2023. I'm proving to you all that Gary Gensler is against crypto. Take a second and listen to this individual, representative from State Street, a reputable institution, tell you all what SAB 121 actually is.
Yeah, so Staff Accounting Bulletin 121 was issued by the Office of the Chief Accountant at the SEC, and it essentially kind of had at its core two main requirements. One is that entities that are safekeeping or custodying digital assets needed to include a number of disclosures to their clients, risk disclosures in their financial statements about the risks associated with that, which makes a lot of sense. And then the second aspect was to ensure that those entities include on their balance sheet both an asset and a liability equal to the fair market value of those assets. And for most public companies that this applies to, who are not banks, it's more of a reporting exercise. It doesn't have a fundamental impact to the way they run their business. For a custody bank or a bank in general, when you put an asset on your balance sheet, that means you need to hold capital against that asset. So it makes the activity of custodying assets much more expensive for the bank. And so as we go through this process and we have SAB 121, it essentially provides a hindrance for banks to be getting into this business because it makes it a lot more expensive. Traditionally, in custody of traditional assets, those do not go on the balance sheet. So this is it makes the activity more expensive than it would otherwise be. And I think there's a challenge here too, because as I mentioned, a core aspect of what a custody bank does and what a bank does generally is to ensure that we are doing things in a safe and a sound manner, and that we're managing our clients' assets in a way that facilitates financial stability. By having SAB 121, it makes it harder for banks, who are the entities that are kind of most suited to bringing stability to the digital asset industry. It kind of keeps them out. By having SAB 121, it makes it harder for banks, who are the entities that are kind of most suited to bringing stability to the digital asset industry. It kind of keeps them out.
Right? It literally stops financial institutions from participating in this market. And Gary Gensler is supporting this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is physical proof that Gary Gensler is against cryptocurrency, that he is not for digital asset adoption and the growth of this cryptocurrency ecosystem, right? Now, we can see Congress fighting for this. Congress, in my personal opinion, is actually on our side and is waking up to the potential and the power of these digital assets. Congressman Nickel calls on SEC Chair Gary Gensler to withdraw SAB 121. This is from May 15th, 2024, so recent. Now, let's take a second and listen to some other reputable individuals discuss and talk about this specific topic.
It's a very destructive rule, and I think it's trying to eliminate cryptocurrencies and eliminate the ability of institutions to participate in the market. And I think that's a big mistake. Institutions have asked over and over again to have a well-regulated market and industry. They want to participate in it. This is a $1 trillion industry that the United States and certainly our states of New York and Wyoming should be in the center of it. And when rules like this come forward, it's trying to make the climate so toxic that participants can't participate domestically. And so U.S. participants will go abroad, we'll lose industries, we'll lose businesses. And it's just an extremely unwise approach when participants really want basic frameworks for regulation.
Why did the regulators, why have they throttled or attempted to throttle everything you're doing?
Well, I think if you read the public information, you can determine that it was Operation Choke Point 2.0. There is no question. And we knew about that the moment that the Fed denied us. It turned out we were the tip of the spear. But how did we know about it? I can talk about this a little bit more now than I could back then, because the government leaked it to the press, and we had reporters hounding us 2 days before the Fed voted to deny our application that we were going to be voted down. Supposedly, this is an independent Fed, right? Okay, but the White House was involved, we subsequently found out. And the impact is that because we weren't responding to the reporters, they finally emailed us and said, we have been told that every bank that has a crypto component has simultaneously been asked to withdraw their applications. Well, wait a minute. We were all supposed to be standing on our own, right? We have due process rights. And yet this was this coordinated approach across all the agencies. And now it's subsequently crystal clear it's a coordinated approach across all of the U.S. government agencies to try to kill crypto. But the funny thing is they failed. And so some of us are fighting. We're winning in the courts. Obviously, so we've seen some of the court cases against the SEC. Still more to come. And of course, ours is as well against the Fed. And so, yeah, we're right now, unless and until there's a change in the Biden administration, we're stuck with the Operation Choke Point 2.0. I don't expect that to change at all. Even if Marty Gruenberg, there are a lot of people now calling for his resignation over the Wall Street Journal revelations, which are pretty salacious. And again, he's the guy who started Operation Choke Point 1.0 and Operation Choke Point 2.0. But even if he does end up having to resign over all those salacious allegations, I don't think we would necessarily get anyone any better.
It sounds very un-American.
It's very un-American. Well, and I asked, you know what's interesting, Peter? I'm glad you said that, because multiple people have come forward to me. Washington, D.C. is a sieve. There are no secrets. We had the first insider come forward the weekend after the Fed denied us and told us everything that happened. And it was just very clear that what was happening to us was political. It was not on the merits. The impact is, one of the other insiders subsequent to that, as I've been talking about this on podcasts, more insiders have come forward. And one of them, I asked the question, essentially the same question you just did. And I said, well, what is driving Elizabeth Warren to do what she's doing, because he pointed out that she's basically in control of all the financial services appointees in the Biden administration. I can't prove this, but multiple people have now talked about it, including Novogratz, who's a big Democrat and has tried to meet with her, but apparently she won't meet with him. It's now it's not even a secret. It was an open secret for a while. It's not even a secret anymore. There was a deal apparently cut between Biden and Warren that she got to put her people in those positions. And as you know, she's very anti-crypto. And what was driving it? And the answer, the same question you asked me, was this person who's a moderate Democrat. He said they're all Leninists. They want a central bank digital currency. They don't believe in private industry, and they certainly don't believe in having any private banking.
But I remember when I first got into Bitcoin, seeing videos of Elizabeth Warren campaigning and taking to holding the feet to the fire of Wall Street, of the banks. And now she seems to have flipped in the last 2-3 years, and now seems to be in the pockets of Wall Street and the banks. I don't understand it, because Jason Meyer's written a brilliant book about why Democrats should embrace Bitcoin.
There's some really powerful arguments by progressives for why they should embrace Bitcoin. Yes, absolutely.
So what has changed with her? I don't understand it.
So I've never met her. She was my law school roommate's favorite professor at Harvard Law School. She is a renowned scholar in bankruptcy law. I don't know what's driving it. And Ryan Selkis asked this of Novogratz, right? He's one of the biggest Democratic donors, and she won't even meet with him. But he said he's on stage when Ryan asked him at MainNet what's driving this. And Novogratz couldn't answer, but he said, I've talked to all of her staffers and they disagree with her. So she stands alone even within her office in how virulent her views against this industry are. The only thing that makes sense to me, and again, I'm speculating, I can't prove this, this is just what insiders have come forward to tell me, is that she really wants to tear down to build back better. And that definition is that there will not be any private financial institutions, and we will all be banking at the Fed. And they will be able to turn on and off our access to our money based on what they desire. That's what Operation Choke Point 1.0 is, and Operation Choke Point 2.0 as well, right? It's basically saying certain industries can get access to their money and certain industries cannot. Wait till they do. Certain people can get access to their money and certain people cannot. I have heard of individuals who've had bank accounts closed just for sending a wire to Coinbase.
Absolutely, and even on, for example, the money transmitter side, where we've seen the Department of Justice take a very different position than the Department of Treasury has taken. It creates a kind of uncertainty that causes providers to go offshore. And we've talked to companies, I'm sure you have too, that are saying there's a more well-understood regulatory framework in Europe, and it's more mature than the United States is. And it compels us to want to set our anchor in Europe rather than in the United States. That's a terrible shame. I mean, this country is the incubator of innovation. We've always been that way. And so to take this particular industry in its infancy still and make sure that it doesn't thrive here but it thrives elsewhere in the world is really tragic. And of course, we have a framework. Our colleagues, I think, are ready to see it, but the administration isn't, I would say. Or certain people in the administration aren't ready to see it.
Right? So take all those things into consideration. Now I'm going to show you again. Central banks, in my personal opinion, implemented a PSYOP to stall the adoption of digital assets with FTX. And Gary Gensler knew all about it, as we see. Brad Garlinghouse mentioning Gary Gensler cozied up with SBF. I just showed you all how the regulators did not find out about FTX. The crypto community did. Well, now let me show you this. This is a post from the digital assets page on LinkedIn where they had a conference just the other day ago. This is literally the Future of Finance conference that took place. And look what they talked about. Bitcoin versus fiat. Did the cryptocurrency promise to transform money die of its own shortcomings, or was it killed by central banks? And what have I shown you all in previous video breakdown? Sam Bankman-Fried, you mean to tell me all the way back 2 years ago, infiltrated the Bank of International Settlements on March 2022, the same year that FTX collapsed? Sam Bankman-Fried was sitting in on a panel discussion with the BIS, Foundational Tech for a New Financial System. You mean to tell me that this gentleman outsmarted the central bank for central bankers? No, people, this was a freaking PSYOP to crash the market. I'm going to prove my case even further. Okay, so now we're going to get into some systemically important individuals from reputable banks and financial institutions telling you all that FTX was an opportunity, and that crypto is not going away, and that the vast majority of individuals thought that crypto was going away, but it is not.
Where you and Broadbridge, are you seeing the move to DLT-based platforms occur?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's funny because with sort of the implosion of the crypto market last year, I think the general public is sort of thinking like, oh, well, this stuff is going away. And, you know, when you talk to people in the know in financial services, it's like, no, it's not going away.
Yeah,
It's very real.
But the timing, why now? Why not earlier or why not later?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of started like in the aftermath of the FTX crash, right, where the market was severely disrupted, and even like the pessimists, they were thinking like the crypto investing time's over. And we, on the contrary, we saw it as an opportunity because we sensed like the clients are still looking for investment opportunities. They were just afraid that the crypto investing time's over. And we, on the contrary, we saw it as an opportunity because we sensed like
So that was the CEO of Broadridge and another representative from another reputable bank. And now I want to take your attention to a video that was taken down off the internet. All right. This is a video breakdown from the Financial Times Live Summit that took place in December 2023. Now, I don't know why this video was taken off the internet, but the CYPRX research team was able to scoop a clip from it. And I'm going to show you, you can see right here, Ripple, right, on the headlines was at this meeting. If we scroll right down here, we can even see Marcus Infinger was an individual representative on the panel with this gentleman right here, Martin Howard, right, Senior Vice President at Index Research at Wilshire Indexes, and listen to what he has to say about financial institutions migrating over to the crypto ecosystem. Take a second and listen.
To that point that things may not be in the financial world, and the basis that 2 of the 4 panelists are from technology companies and not from financial companies. So I think tokenization is very much, you will see a shift away from the financial world in the TradFi kind of inverted commas, if you like, to be much more technology orientated.
So I mean, to go back to the original question of the panel, you think that, yeah, where does that answer sit in relation to the question of the panel, I suppose, when we're moving away from traditional finance?
Yeah, traditional finance will move towards crypto, and not the other way around. Yeah, traditional finance will move towards crypto, and not the other way around.
So what I'm attempting to show you all in this video breakdown is that there is, for a fact, a 110% attack on the digital asset ecosystem. The video clips that I just shared with you all are never going to reach the mainstream. They do not want you involved in crypto, yet they know that financial institutions are going to adopt these technologies at such an unprecedented scale that you can't even fathom. Okay, do not get shaken out. They take these videos down. In my personal opinion, they took this video down because this was open confirmation from a financial institution that financial institutions are coming to crypto. And they don't want you to know that. They took this video off the internet. We were, again, able to snag that clip. Again, this gentleman sitting, Martin Howard, in on a panel discussion with Marcus Infinger from Ripple, right? Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple openly telling you all that Gary Gensler's cozied up with Sam Bankman-Fried. And I just showed you all how Sam Bankman-Fried, in my personal opinion, was a PSYOP implemented into the system to do what? Look at this. I'm not making this up. Crash the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Was it killed by central banks? Right? Take all these things into consideration. There's 110% an attack on crypto. Gary Gensler needs to get taken out of this. I mean, this is so disgusting for the United States and the environment and the digital asset ecosystem in the US, right? So just take these things into consideration. Do not get shaken out, ladies and gentlemen. You just heard reputable individuals from Broadridge, from other financial institutions saying that the collapse of FTX was an opportunity to buy the dip. Why do you think that is? Because they know that no matter what black swan events drop the value of the total cryptocurrency market cap, in the long run, this market will be a multi-trillion-dollar market moving forward. Many blessings to you guys. As always, be cognizant, be aware. None of this is financial advice. Always consider doing your own personal research. Many blessings. If you guys enjoyed this video breakdown, share it with a friend, with a family member to keep them hopeful, forward-looking in this digital asset landscape, considering the recent pullback that we've experienced in the market turmoil. Many blessings. As always, be cognizant, be aware, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.